bankrupt these people are. Let's go to the next clip as the superintendent of police absolutely throws a hissy and runs like a vampire at high noon when he's asked about false flag provocateurs.
Will the Chicago PD be using agent provocateurs, police officers dressed up as black bloc anarchists like we've seen in other large demonstrations across the country?
What?
Will you be using police provocateurs, agent provocateurs dressed as black bloc members during the NATO demonstrations? Because other police departments have done that at the NATO and G8 summits to instigate violence.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Will you have...
Provocateurs have happened in Montebello.
All right, guys, we're done. I'll see you. See ya.
Guess that wasn't a good question to ask.
You see, these guys think they're part of the inside, some little police chief ingesting fluoride, he's probably got a, kid at home that's autistic, statistically. He's soft-killed, he's already gone. But it doesn't matter, he's let in on the little secrets. He's like, superintendent of police in Chicago, let me tell you, he probably hangs out with Don Corleone every day. This is amazing. Most corrupt city in the U.S., I don't know what you're talking about, and I'm getting out of here right now. Hey, why don't you join humanity, man? Really, you're older. What is having a mustache and a police outfit done for you? People kiss your butt at the steakhouse? Okay. Before you know it, you're going to be 75 years old with terminal cancer. And back then, back in the day, which is right now, don't you want to look back and wish you'd have done something right now? All these years later. But it's not all these years later. You've got a chance now to do something. Teleprompter free news. One more little giblet here. Secret interpretation of Patriot Act will remain secret. Federal courts are now saying, well, we're going to say we can secretly arrest you and disappear you and break into your house and stuff, and we're going to keep that ruling secret, too, because it'll make us look bad. Boy, we talk about the Germans. How did they let this happen to their country? How do we let this happen to ours? I have a quote here by Mother Teresa. Being unwanted, unloved, uncared for, forgotten by everybody, I think that is a much greater hunger, a much greater poverty than the person who has nothing to eat. Mother Teresa, that's right. And we're here for people under assault by the New World Order. Not because we're good, not because we're special, but because we're red-blooded and just want to live and survive. And want to find others that want to survive and be decent. We don't hunger after raping children and stealing property and dominating people and telling people there's no First Amendment. We don't hunger after selling deadly prescription drugs. We don't hunger after endless wars and black uniforms and cameras and power, because we have power. And the only crime of good people is that we don't use our power to smash and crush the maggots that are the New World Order. We're going to come back with an incredible woman, Sibel Edmonds, straight ahead, one of the biggest whistleblowers in modern history, probably the biggest. Words cannot describe this. Witness to the criminals that run our government, running Al-Qaeda and staging 9/11. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Poisonous, and we resist them via a free market system. Hello, my fellow info warriors. Alex Jones here, introducing you to the ProPure family of gravity-fed filters. Now, you know that the globalists are filling our water with radioactive isotopes, fluoride, lead, mercury, arsenic. And one of the few systems that can efficiently and economically remove or reduce down to non-detectable levels these poisons are gravity-fed filters. And ProPure is the top of the line. Their filters are impregnated with silver, a natural antibiotic. On top of that, they're bigger, so they filter faster. You don't have to prime these the first time you use them. It's amazing. Go to INFOWARS.com and click on the shopping cart link to see the entire family of these babies. Now, the fluoride they add to our water is so tiny that most filters can't cut it out. But ProPure has their system that will, again, reduce it to non-detectable levels, almost get all of it out of there. That's also available. And if you look at the different systems they offer, the ProPure Big Brush Finish is on a stand, so it's easier on a table or at your restaurant or wherever you have it to go up with a glass or a mug and fill it up. Then there's this big baby right here, the ProPure King large version. Got a lot of different options that come with it. Also, they have the ProPure Big, probably one of the best values out there. And of course, it's burnished stainless steel. And then what I use on my semi RV, something that's great for your hunting cabin or the back porch, is the ProPure Traveler. Small and portable, but packs a huge punch, cleans out all that garbage. They also have a glass sight spigot, so you don't have to take the top off and look in the bottom area to see how much water. You can see how fast it's filtering with this optional system. The globalists obviously are hitting us through our water. It's time to take control of our lives. It's time to not give our children and families these poisons, and these systems cut it down to non-detectable levels across the board. ProPure is the name. I only promote what I believe in. And I use ProPure in my home and my office. And I recommend that you check out the information on ProPure at INFOWARS.com. We already have the lowest price at INFOWARS.com on the ProPure gravity filter system. But when you add in the 10% off when InfoWarriors use the product code WATER at InfoWars.com, nobody can top it. So again, it's a win-win-win. Stop drinking the poison water. Checkmate the globalists when it comes to your health, and support InfoWars.com and the work we're doing here. You know, many revolutionaries rob banks and things and kidnap people for funds. We promote in the free market the products we use that are about preparedness. That's how we fund this revolution against the New World Order in our move to restore our constitutional republic and a spirit of 1776 worldwide. Check it out at InfoWars.com. ProPure, top of the line, #1, most powerful and effective and economical gravity-fed water system in the world. ProPure, available, discounted at InfoWars.com. Don't forget product code WATER to save 10%. It's the latest generation, years in development. ProPure is the name. Welcome back to this special edition of InfoWars Nightly News. At the end of this next interview, we've got something really special coming up, so be sure and stay with us. But right now, we've got something incredibly important. They call Daniel Ellsberg of the Pentagon Papers, the most famous and most important whistleblower in modern U.S. history. Well, he just leaked some CIA RAND Corporation documents that the war was being lost in Vietnam and was really just about war profiteering. And so they wanted it to keep going forever. And the objectives that they had claimed to bring freedom had nothing to do with it. It was about opium and a lot more. Quite frankly, what Daniel Ellsberg talked about pales in significance to Sibel Edmonds, a FBI translator going over top security clearance, NSA intercepts. She went to work for him 3 days after 9/11, and she looked at intercepts from the mid-'90s right up until 9/11. And what she saw blew her away. She went to Congress and was gagged. The information that she was able to see confirms everything that we've reverse engineered on the outside, that 9/11 was a synthetic false flag staged event. Al-Qaeda is a creation of Western intelligence to menace the West so they can take our liberties, but also bring down other regimes in the area that try to be more sensible and build up their society. The jihadis basically are a group just turned loose by the globalists, the banking interests that dominate our country and Europe, to destroy Arab and Muslim nations that try to build up. And that's the whole history. You know, they admit Mujahideen was founded by the CIA, but it's a lot deeper than that. Look at how Al-Qaeda has been used. You know, one thing Bush said was the terrorists attacked us because they hate our freedom. And the people with Bush and now Obama have destroyed our liberties and our freedoms to a cartoon level. I mean, it's so off the charts. It's like a comic book or something. NDAA, secret arrest, light posts that listen to you, drones in the skies, TSA, molesting people. I guess the terrorists really did attack us because they hated our freedom. The military-industrial complex controlled by foreign banks, they attacked us through their proxies that took the blame because they did hate our freedom. It's actually true. The terrorists did attack us. It's the criminal elements of the government and the megacorporations who are the terrorists, and they do hate our freedoms because our freedoms and our Bill of Rights and due process would put all of them in jail for the insider trading, the trillions in banker bailouts, and the looting and criminality we see right now. And all over the world, an iron curtain of tyranny is descending over nations under the guise of 9/11 and terrorism. But in the front of the paper, not even in the back, they admit Al-Qaeda are heroes in Libya, funded by NATO, the CIA, Mossad, and others, and now in Syria. The U.S. Ambassador Rice to the UN, she said 2 weeks ago, she said, Assad, there'll be more bombings of your government buildings if you don't step down. And who's bombing them? Al-Qaeda, trained in Turkey and other areas and brought in by the United States, the so-called U.S., the criminals that have hijacked us. And all this is done in our name. The lady we're about to talk to is an inside whistleblower who witnessed this, and they've threatened her with jail time for violating national security. That national security now means their criminal actions if she exposes who Al-Qaeda was really working for on 9/11. And she has a new book out that we're going to be telling you about as well. But even the ACLU calls her the most classified woman and one of the biggest whistleblowers in history. And again, we have to pray for her and support her and get her book, because she is right now facing the potential of them threatening to come arrest her for publishing this book. Sibel, good to have you on with us.
Thank you for having me on again, Alex.
Well, we had you on the radio yesterday, but now I just want to sit back, and I've got some questions later, but in the next 15 minutes or so, you've got the floor.
Okay. Go ahead. Start with a question, and I'll get going.
Just tell people how it all began. I mean, because last time I directed the questions. In this interview, I want you to be able, you know, if you were addressing millions of people, which you are, I'm asking you, what would you say to them? What's most important in your huge story that's been confirmed?
Well, the most important thing is, what is our government doing? What has it been doing? And why they have been covering up what they have been doing for so long. Because, you know, if you're not engaged in something really wrong, outrageous, you won't have this need to cover up. You won't have to classify 5 million documents every single day. That's what they do. There are billions of documents. These are government documents. This is supposed to be the government of the people, for the people, by the people. So if you have billions of documents kept secret, if you have the government who issues gag orders on government insiders who come forward and dare to report on government's own wrongdoing, criminal operations, criminal activities, waste, fraud, abuse, how can this government be a government of the people, for the people, by the people? You have all these classifications, all these cover-ups. You have gag orders. We have had, since Obama became president, we have had 7 government whistleblowers prosecuted. Look, even Dan Ellsberg didn't go to jail. And guess what? Outside Dan Ellsberg, we haven't had a whistleblower that has been indicted, ever. And just in this short period, we have had this president, the so-called liberal president, that has convicted 7 government whistleblowers. Their crime? Coming out, letting the public know that their government is engaged in criminal activities all over the world and here in the United States, whether it's torture, whether billions of dollars. Look at all these people who can't afford in our country to pay for their medical bills, okay? Look at the state of our schools, our libraries. And our government, with all this deficit that we have, Alex, you know it. I mean, I don't want to be preaching to the choir here. Wasting every month billions of dollars. You know why? Because it is not accountable. One of the examples I give people is, if you witness a crime, you know, murder, burglary, what do? Usually you go and take out your cell phone and you call the police. What if you witness your government, the police, is committing some heinous crime? Who do you have to call? If you look at the federal courts since 9/11, find one case where the federal court has not sided with the government and helped the government cover up, whether by accepting secrecy and state secrets privilege,